Hey guys, my name is Simpzy. How you all doing? Welcome to the start of a brand new campaign series here today on the channel. We're back on Total War Rome 2 Emperor Edition. We are playing on the DEI Divide et Impera mod as the Roman Republic. We're playing as Roma. So, if you like the sound of that, feel free to leave the video a like. Subscribe if you're new around here with notifications on. Let me know in the comments feedback and suggestions for the series and where you'd like me to expand and conquer. As we're playing on DEI, it is obviously designed for normal difficulty. If you play on hard to very hard, it breaks the game. Now, there are three factions we can choose from. The patricians, to the nobility, and to the equites. I'm going to go with the patricians, simply because of the agricultural bonuses. Although we get a moderate diplomatic penalty to other factions, at the end of the day, we are going to be fighting with most of the known world. The main objective of this series is to forge the Roman Empire in their historical borders. So strap yourselves in for a long episode here today. It's going to be a long series, this one. Also guys, just thought I'd let you know that I've gotten access to YouTube memberships on the channel. So they're going to be linked in the description below if you can get it from your available country. When I live stream, you're going to have access to various emotes. Also, you get access to future information about my uploads. So you get to know a couple of days before when the series is coming out. It's kind of similar to Twitch subs. It helps supports the channel, and you also get some more sort of integrated features more than Patreon. So it's completely optional there. It really helps out the channel, but yeah, I just thought I'd let you know. Okay guys, loading in here now. Welcome to the campaign map. I'm so excited for this. So, you are Rome. You've recently defeated the other Italian powers and their local Celtic allies. Come what may, Rome will triumphate. So a little bit of Carthage and Syracuse backstory there as well. So, it's been, what, 5 years since I've done a Divide et Impera Roman campaign, and I've been really looking forward to recording this here today. I've got the Rome 2 bug in my system. It's been, what, 7 years since Rome came out, and it's still a fantastic game, especially the Emperor Edition, in my opinion. But even that version of DEI that I played 5 years ago was nowhere near on the level what it is now. DEI is a phenomenal game. It is really quite excellent. I'll put in the description below the mod if you guys like to download and play along with me, and also the submods I am using. So you can let me know in the comments where you'd like me to expand and conquer. But we'll just sort of see how the series goes, because often what happens is, well, you can obviously go down the historical approach, pushing into Gaul, starting off with the Punic Wars, but if we get drawn in a sort of general direction, we'll sort of go that way. So we're currently at war with Epirus. We're also at war with the Etruscans, of course. We've really got to watch out for Epirus and their war elephants to the south. Now, it's been quite some time since I've played as Rome on DEI, so let me know in the comments feedback and suggestions, tips and tricks. So, we want to try and get some general diplomacy where we can, especially on this difficulty. We don't particularly want to dive into it too much, because we've already got that diplomatic penalty anyway. So I think focusing on the Etruscans and the men of Epirus is probably the play. I don't think we're going to be pushing into Illyria anytime soon. I think probably securing modern-day Italy, Cisalpine Gaul, and Syracuse itself. I am going to try and play with Roman antiquity tactics, like the triple axis formation. It's actually going to be a viable tactic in this series due to the disciplined formation trait that Rome has. It's so strong. Maybe, in my opinion, they should patch it. So Epirus don't want peace here. We're currently just trying to get some negotiations off. Massalia, Liguria. We've also got to be incredibly mindful of diplomacy in DEI because it's a lot costly. For example, if we just sort of destroy Epirus to the ground, it's going to make all Hellenic factions not like us. Tech-wise, what we want to do, we've still got the management. We can upgrade the reforms eventually as well to Roman unit upgrades. We're going to go down through land management, and where is this? I think it's the owl. Yep. That's it. We want to get dignitaries in. We want to get scholarship as quickly as possible because they are so crucial in this game. We want to eventually install a governor in Roma and in Tarus, the former Spartan Greek city-state, which is now under the control of Epirus. 90 regions there. I will end the series once I sort of hit Rome's historical borders. So, like I said, this is going to be a long campaign. We're playing as Quintus Aemilius Pappus of the Patricians. He is our faction leader. He is currently he's the faction leader. He's technically not the consul of Rome, but I'm going to play it like that. The faction leader is going to be the consul. Decimus is from the Equites. Gaius is from the nobles. And Lucius there for the plebeians. So the Senate is currently divided between 4 factions. Eventually we can switch to the maybe reformed republic or government type eventually, but we are playing as the Roman Republic in this series. So staying as a republic for now will be more beneficial. What's the fuck? Siri doing silly stuff there? I don't know if you heard that, my bad. Okay, guys, well, let's dive into some military recruitments, construction, and political stuff where we can. So there's not really too much we can do with Quintus Aemilius Pappus. We can gather support. It might actually be beneficial to get him married off eventually when we can. Also, as well, as we're in the sort of protective zone of early in the campaign, we probably should try and gather as much support as we can. So we currently got Legion 1 here, and we've also got Legion 2. I want to try and bring in my own family members into this command. So in Legion 2, can I bring in someone... I'll bring in someone from the patrician class. We might be able to eventually. So let's move you up here, because we do start at war with Epirus and the Etruscans. So we are fighting on a 2-front. I'll try and make my way back here, and then I'll replace him. So we'll move Legion 2 here, with a couple of units of Astarte and Principes, and I'm going to bring in Modius Fulio. As well, I could go sort of down the path of sort of having the successional lineage, sort of the patrilineal sort of lineage of sort of early medieval Europe rather than the families. I want to sort of have the faction leaders, I want to have heirs and generals. I want to be able to follow the line of Romans. So what we've got access to our disposal, we've got Astarte, we've got Principes, and we've also got some Triarii and some slingers. So we want to try and get as many Principes. We'll keep a couple of Astarte. The young, cheaper, keen boys are ready to go, but slingers are going to be a must in this campaign. They are so strong in DEI. So let's get 2 units of Principes. Let's get a unit of Triarii here. We only can get 1, but that's fine. We do have a lot of recruitment capacity early on in the city of Rome, which is fantastic to see. We don't need to build a barracks there either, because Rome acts as its own. Down in the south with Fulio, with Legion 2, what can we get access to? So in DEI, what I love is that each zone has its own population where you can recruit from. So we're going to be able to get some Italian levies here, along with some slingers as well. Mercs wise, we'll get some as well, because you never know. Sometimes Epirus can intercept you down there in the south. They are in range of that. And even though we've recruited mercenaries in the south, we are going to be able to get more up towards Rome. We'll upgrade the city of Rome as well, because we want to try and get better quality units where we can. Eventually we'll go with a grain supply. Religion as well. We still haven't converted the populace beyond 60%. Irenium is currently under our control. In vanilla, it's not usually. Let's build a villa over there to get more farms and a fishing port as well. Food, religion are sort of the earlier mechanics we need. We don't actually need a barracks because we've got one in Rome and an Axis one, which is a nice little tip. And we'll build a siege workshop there as well. So once we push up against Arretium, I think focusing on the Etruscans first is the play. Then we'll pivot further south to deal with Epirus. Okay, so I'm liking everything at the moment. Everything is coming up the Senate. Now, speaking of the Senate, none of that's too crazy to deal with just yet. Because technically on that yellow line there, it actually says their military title. So currently Fulio is a military tribune, technically. So we still haven't got the entire region of Italy as well. So let's end the turn and continue to see if Epirus intercept us, or potentially the Etruscans march south. There was a couple of options here. We could have gone with a sort of maybe the Equites or the nobility faction to not get that minus negative diplomacy. I don't know. Let me know. I think that was the... Oh, what? The Veneti have war decked me. Okay. When you have multiple wars going on, sometimes the AI does gang up on you, so I wasn't expecting to go to war with some of the Cisalpine Gaulish factions incredibly early on. So, okay. So maybe we can try and make a peace with that. Fulio's still pushing up here with his Legion 2 to Beneventum, because that can hold. Look, towards the south, I think that we could lose it to the men of Epirus. So holding Beneventum is probably the play. We'll get that governor in. Alright, let's move my spy north to Arretium to see what we're working with. So 6 units there, including the garrison. So the king of the Etruscans is there. Okay, so we're going to be able to fight that with this army in Rome. We've still got those mercenaries at our disposal as well. So let's send our faction leader Quintus Pappus north. Now, can you get those mercenaries here? You can. So we can get Stati and some Italian ones there. Oh no, it's done that thing. Ah, because although the manpower is a fantastic mechanic, it's the thing is it's been crowbarred into the Rome engine. So even though it's fantastic, it does bug out a little bit sometimes. There we go. That's what we want. So we'll get those guys in. So we'll push for Arretium now to siege out the Etruscans. So even though we don't have the odds there, they only outnumber us by about 700 men. They have a lot of citizens. Even though the balance of power is heavily on their side, probably 80% towards them, I'm going to fight that one. Okay, and further in the south here with Fulio, we'll get some more of those early Riorii levies, and we'll push my spy further to Taurus as well. Yeah, Cassentia, I'm happy to let go because I can't afford Rome and the core territories to fold just yet. It looks like the Veneti want peace. Yeah, sometimes the AI sort of does that, which is a bit of a shame. But the thing is, right, yeah, let me know what your recommendation is, what sort of house to play as. I sort of had a bit of a look. I thought because we're going to be getting war decks so much, and we're going to be basically no one's friend anyway, so it doesn't really matter. We get an agriculture buff, and we also get a really nice Latin buff as well. So let me know your thoughts and opinions who've played a Rome campaign recently. Okay, so let's do a quick save and a hard save, and we'll fight the first battle of the Rome series against the Etruscans. Alright, save succeeded, as I am using DEI of course, and a lot of sub-mods. Every single battle, I'm basically going to have to do a hard save, because I won't be able to forgive myself if the game crashes. So we've got the first battle here. 2 units of Triarii, 3 units of Principes, 2 units of Mercs, 1 unit of Astarte, and 2 Slingers. Let's have the first battle of the Roman campaign. Now guys, if you want to see more Rome 2 on the channel, the best thing you guys can do to support it is to leave a like, subscribe if you're new around here with notifications on, let me know in the comments feedback and suggestions, and support it, and I'll do more. So looking at the roll of the dice, 3 fog and 1 dry. Okay, I'll take that. So let's get stuck right in to the battle against the Etruscans. Now like I said, I sort of want to role play a little bit in this Roman series, and we're going to be using not the double axis formation, the triple axis, as the Romans used in this pre-Marian time period. I think it was plebeian reforms. I think that's technically what it is, and it actually is a viable strategy in DEI, and it's due to one simple feature: the disciplined formation. It is so strong for the Romans. I had a couple of test battles just to make sure the mod was running, and you can quite literally have units be completely surrounded by like 4 or 5 or even 6 units sometimes, and they will still hold. You just need to have a massive amount of slingers to swing them down. So I'll try and incorporate these tactics where I can. Obviously every battlefield is different, and we're not going to be able to use it in sieges and stuff, but it does seem to be a viable tactic from what I've tested with, which is really cool, and it also looks really cool, the diagonal sort of aesthetically pleasing Roman formation. So if there's any sort of other role-playing aspects you could suggest, let me know. And even with when you press G and group these formations, they actually make the proper distinctions of where the units go. So it's not like a bit of a mix match. It doesn't just do the formation, it actually historically moves them into their realistic role. So obviously the Romans would have 2 to 3 velites at the front that skirmished back and forth from what I can remember. I think the first infantry line was Astarte, the second was Principe, and then the third was the Triarii. And as you can see, it's actually worked out perfectly, which is fantastic to see. There'd be 2 units of cavalry on the left and right, of course. I'm not going to group up the general for this one, as I do need to allow him to scout and flank around. So let's start the battle there, and let's fight the Etruscans here. So let's speed things up. Even though we're outnumbered 80, or not outnumbered, but they're favoured 80 to our 20, they might attack us. We'll just sort of have to see. But now it's actually swung a little bit now that we're in the battlefield. 60-40. I don't particularly want to be fighting in those trees in the road ahead. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my army to try and take this high ground area. It looks like they have even moved some deployables here. We'll get my cavalry to scout. So what I want to do here is make sure we have the triple axis formation, and I want to be able to drag and hold it. Yeah, something like that. That'll work fantastic. I'm going to speed things up. I don't particularly want to run because I don't want to get my men exhausted. Fatigue is a real issue in DEI. I'm going to scout with my general here. We'll try and get some hammer and anvil tactics with you. Look at this. Glorious Quintus pushing across the fields of Mars here to finally put the nail in the Epirus coffin. Astarte, Principes, and Triarii slowly but surely trying to take the high ground. Now you think that sort of holds, intertwine those deployables, but we'll just have to see. Now, we don't have line of sight on them, so I'm going to play things a little bit safe. Instead of cutting across the hill and being visible, I know it's a risky strategy, but I think it's worth it because we could get caught. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I think we're going to have to do it. Quickly now, men. Shuffle where you can. Because if we cut across the side of the hill, we could get caught. We're better off remaining invisible and risking being charged down upon from the top. Once they get a little bit closer, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my general to scout up ahead. We are a little bit outnumbered by about 700 to 800 or so. I would have liked some more skirmishers because we are a little bit infantry focused, but that should be alright. I would like to try and get 6 to 5 skirmishers per each, and then 4 cavalry as well. We're not going to need to rely too heavily on infantry. We need probably about, I don't know, 5 to 6 potentially, because that disciplined formation is crazy. They probably should give it a little bit of a debuff, but I get it. I can sort of guess the rationale behind it. You want Rome to be a disciplined powerhouse. Sometimes they do get wiped out, but it's got to be finally playing as the Romans for quite some time. They are my favourite faction in the game, although it's fun playing as various Hellenic factions. Reforging Alexander's legacy with one of the various successor kingdoms being the Seleucids, the Egyptians, or Macedon itself. So we should be right here, but we'll get my cavalry to peek up over the top of the hill. Let's cross our fingers and hope to see if the Etruscans are already there. And luckily for me, they're not. So we'll try and push up here and take the high ground. So we've taken a little bit of a long route for this fight. We've wasted, what, 10 or so minutes moving around here. But that's fine, that's DEI for you. I want to be slow, meticulous and methodical in my approach. Especially early on in the Roman campaign, if you're not paying attention, you can fall into some traps. Even as well in regards to diplomacy, I don't know if it's even that worth it. Like, maybe if you're playing on, like, easy or, like, very easy, having diplomatic buffs, and if you're not, like, wanting to... Like, if you just want to conquer, like, what was the Western Roman Empire, maybe having alliances with Seleucids, Egypt, and Greece might be worthwhile, and just trading with them. But from what I can remember, there's even, like, scripts in this game. There's our first line of sight against the Etruscans, though. There's even, like, scripts against, like, even if you take Syracuse, and we've still got this, like, trade right non-aggression pact with Carthage, a script comes in that as soon as Roman troops land and move in Syracuse, Carthage is going to declare war upon us anyway. So there's a lot of scripted events like that that we can't really avoid. Okay. Now, they might have hyperextended some of those units. They're only brimstone pits, so they haven't been activated. They're not the manhole ones, which I'm worried about. I reckon we can hit those Italian slingers. I would like some more cavalry in my army. We're going to be able to close the distance enough. Maybe not. They seem to be outrunning us. But I might have to make a mod pack. Or a sub-mod pack that I'm using for this. Because it's not pure vanilla DEI. Just because I don't have time. Sometimes those campaigns can go on to months. So mostly time reduction value changes is the main thing. We've managed to close the distance on them. But the beauty with DEI, it's such a fantastic mod that if you realistically, like if you wanted to be, you're like, right, you finish some work, you only play one game Rome, and you wanted to have a campaign that lasts multiple months and be... Why is that? Oh, I think it's these deployables that are stopping me from... What? Yeah, what? I did it so perfectly before. What? It's like there's stuff in the way. That's so weird. Anyway, I'll try and fix this up and finish my point. Yeah, triple axis formation. Yeah, it's like letting me do it there and like and higher up the hill. That's so strange. There might be hidden deployables there. I don't think so. We just moved my cavalry. That's so buggy. Anyway, yeah, if you want a campaign that lasts you 2-3 months and you're disciplined to do it, because after, I'd say probably 2 weeks, I get sick of a campaign. I want to move on to something else. But we probably would get it wrapped up. This. So, support it, and I'll do plenty of episodes. I reckon, like, in DI, honestly, it could... I'm just trying to go from this perspective of my Total War Attila campaign as the Byzantines when I forged Rome. I think it took us somewhere between 18 to 20 episodes, so it could be very much the same. But about halfway through the campaign, I might sort of do a check of house. See if you guys are still enjoying it. If your retention is up. And I'll do more. But if things drop off and no one wants it, we'll move on to something else. Okay, so that guy just fell into a pit because I've got to be quite ruthless these days in regards to the YouTube algorithm. So they're drawing it into the forest, which is not exactly what I wanted. And their slingers are peppering me. Oh, okay, that's the entire enemy host. Right, you need to pull way further back here. So we do have the high ground, so that's working for us. However, we are going to be fighting in the shrubbery now because they are so close to us. They're going to cut the distance there incredibly fast. We are slowly but surely traversing the topography. We might have to move our slingers further back. And it even looks like some of the skirmishers there are actually stuck on that wall. That's so strange. Okay, we'll try and fall everyone back where we can. Now, this mercenary unit doesn't actually have discipline, which I didn't realise, so maybe I should have hugged you further at the back. Oh, I just assumed all of them had, but we're going to be dropping the disciplined formation now, and honestly, guys, I can't recommend this enough. Phalanx will be fine for the Triarii for now, as they're going to be sitting in my 2nd to 3rd row often in my battles. But the Etruscans have clashed upon the Roman front line, shields and spears shattering and clattering in war. Okay, so we'll move my general around. Sitting back here, yeah, we'll be able to drop a rally and inspire eventually. But disrupting the skirmishes will be fine. Now, depending on if Epirus sort of... not Epirus. Etruscans. Too many E factions. The Etruscans surround us here. This might be a good example of the disciplined formation in action. I could have waited one turn and made them attack me, but they seem to be attacking us. We're going to try and cycle charge with the general now. And I'm going to get my slingers to try and soften up that cluster. The first couple of charges in DEI are good, but then they sort of fizzle out a little bit. They're now buckling, which is fantastic to see. We'll swing around here now. So we seem to be holding for now. So once we wipe out the Etruscans, which I'm still pretty competent in this fight. We've got the high ground. It's still a 50-50. They've only got one territory. Now, come on. We just need to get around here because there's a couple of spike traps there. I don't want to fall into it. Because if we lose our general and get that army loss penalty, that's not good. But so far, the triple axis seems to be working. Fantastic to see. It also sort of mixes up my battles. Because often, I usually just play with a long, strong, staunch front line of spears. and sort of hold off the enemy with my dismounted heavy knights. But it seems to be working. It also, the triple axis formation's good because it also breaks up the units. It also allows tactical mobility and redeployment a lot quicker. So, for example, instead of having a flat front line, slingers sometimes can't get angles. Because as you can see here, if everything was flat facing, the slingers probably couldn't arc their shots. But because there's essentially diagonal slits there on the left and right, they're going to be able to pick them apart. My cavalry is trying to get these Italian slingers. They're not killing overly too many. However, they're disrupting their fire enough for them to stop. The slingers are doing well. I would have liked more cavalry. But there are 3 slinger units here drawing their short swords and holding off the general. So we've still got the high ground. And my young Hastati and Principes are holding the front line while our slingers rain fire and death upon the enemy. This is great. This is fantastic to see. This is what you want in Rome. Total war. Right. Try and swing you around here and disrupt those skirmishes we can. Okay, they're holding out just one. Ah, the enemy general is dead. Good. Focusing, targeting and isolating him is definitely the play. Alright, we'll try and swing around here. Maybe try this other side. There's 31 equites there charging down. Okay, we're in a little bit yellow. We might need to move you back towards our left and flank. Maybe even back behind the front line. But they're wavering there too in the center. Let's swing you further back. Quickly now. They're now wavering. Go on, pull back. Alright, try and angle that because ideally you don't want them to pick the angle on you. Oh, whoa, what? I've told you to move back. Oh, no. We can't lose Quintus in episode 1. Our men are fleeing from the battlefield. Oh, no. Our men are fleeing from the battlefield. Shameful display. I love that. I love that so much. But have we lost Quintus? Oh, no. We were doing so well. Oh, no. Oh, I'm going to be really disappointed with myself if we've just knocked him off. I wasn't sort of paying attention. I don't think it popped up. So we knocked out their general. He's now fleeing back. We can't control him, so let's hopefully he doesn't fall into a pike or a caltrop somewhere. No, he's come back in. Oh, crikey. So we're trying to skirmish out where we can. Also with this disciplined formation, I don't think it has the best missile block. As long as they're facing, the sort of base one is okay. The singers are so strong and so potent in this mod. So being made to fight in the thick, thuggish shrubbery. We've managed to hold on well there against the Etruscan scourge. Because I guess the Samnites have been destroyed at the moment. Because from what I can remember, I have a feeling because this is a different start date, isn't it? Because this starts in 276 BC, while the Rome 2 vanilla starts in 272. Because usually the Etruscans have at least 2 to 3 settlements. They also have Irinium, from what I can remember. Also, guys, if you've played a Roman campaign, I actually don't know this, within like the last couple of months and have gotten to sort of the, let's say, mid to late campaign, in my Seleucid series, we were able to recruit notable generals. Does that pop up in this? Because if it is, whew, I'm going to be incredibly excited for that. If I could get my favourite historical general of all time, Scipio Africanus, in, that'd be awesome. Or maybe a young, upstart kid boy. I can't remember his religious title, Caesar's title, but it was funny. Anyway, Julius Caesar. Maybe even Mark Antony. Good old Marco himself. Okay, so the men of Epirus are on the run. I keep on saying Epirus. The men of the Etruscans are on the run here. And we have victory. Good. Let's speed things up and run down as many of them as we can. We're probably just going to have to end it there because we've got no one quick enough to give chase. Yep. Decisive victory for Quintus Pappus, losing 500, killing 2.6 of theirs. Okay guys, welcome to the campaign map. The battle for Arretium in 276 BC was successful. Now we've got a couple of options here, of course. I'm going to actually loot and occupy to get that 10k because it's going to allow me to fund various building schemes. We're going to be able to build paved roads and build good old aqueducts. So we'll do that where we can. Also, because the majority of the culture is Latin, they're not going to get too angry at that, and most of this I can't even use. I'm not even going to need that barracks, and we'll upgrade the main garrison there at Arretium. But now we can see Genoa, Batavium, and Medulladunum to the north. I always call that one Medulladunum. What is it? Medhalan. I think that's how you say that. Medulladunum is the medieval Attila one. As long as you know what I'm talking about, it doesn't really matter. Right, let's get rid of those mercs, because they're exhausted. Like, even though the thing is, right, in Rome and Attila, depending, you need to make sure you read, but normally, mercenaries are actually alright, like, wage-wise. They're only 20, 30 gold more. But I was going to have to wait ages for the replenishment there, so it's probably alright to get rid of those. Okay, let's have a look at upgrades. Now, I usually go for the purple and the light blue, but I'm just sort of seeing the differences there because there might be one for the Romans. I like army movement, campaign speed. Being able to traverse the campaign map quickly, especially being the high-octane and aggressive blitzkrieging Roman force, it's a must. So I like to go with the purple there. But Quintus Aemilius Pappus is 42 years of age. We'll try and get him married off when we can, and hopefully he can have some more puppas. Or baby puppas. Alright, let's get some just Italian slingers and stuff there. So now we're only at war with Epirus in Taurus. And that war's going to be easier said than done. Because they have, I think they've got Epirus as the faction leader. He's quite good command-wise. But the main thing to note is his war elephants. A notable general history-wise, from what I can remember. With his elephants winning a notable amount of victories. But, yeah. The history books didn't write too much about him compared to the other more renowned Romans in and around his time. Let's go with bread and games. Even some of the Carthaginians like Barca and whatnot. We can call it arms. Eventually it might be good. Let's go with bread and games. Let's get the public order, the growth, and the -2 food. That's fine because, as you can see, I did before, in my building construction, we've got fisheries and food stuff coming eventually. We're also going to switch out one of those commerce buildings to a grain pit, because it's going to be crucial to get one of those. Alrighty, let's cross our fingers and hope that we don't get war decked or anything pops up that I don't want, because as you saw there, like, the AI even just seems to gang up on you anyway, just as a human player. But I'm surprised the Veneti declared war upon me and we pieced out with them so quickly. That could have been bad, them pressing on Arretium. We're not going to have a very low list of enemies. Oh, Syracuse and Carthage have gone to war. Or maybe they might unite Sicily, which I've got to watch out for. Okay guys, welcome back. Welcome to autumn. We're still in 278 BC. C. Now, I've managed to rally Legion 1 and Legion 2 at Beneventum to push against Taurus. It looks like the men of Epirus have actually fled back with the Cyclops Slayers and their war elephants to Apollonia. Taurus is a larger and quite a strong city to take, but Legion 1 here with Quintus Pappus, our faction leader and head of the Patrician House, has 2 units of Triarii, 1 mercenary unit, 4 units of cavalry now. We've also got more Hastati and Principes, and we have 5 units of slingers. So this is an army build that I personally would like. So we're going to push to Taurus here, and what I'm going to do is go into a fortified stance as well. We'll keep Fulio here with Legion 2 nearby to Beneventum, just in case we need to pivot north, because I really distrust the Ces Alpine Gauls. Now, I've just forgotten to go into a fort stance there as I clicked the enter, and I was like too busy like looking at the men of Epirus there. Oh, and they've come out against me. That's some huge movement there. But Epirus have come and attacked us. They have 3.6 to our 3. I think I'm competent enough to play this one. It is defensive, so they're pushing against us. So what do they got? They got a couple pikes. Oh god, those Seleucid war elephants. Crikey. But not too many slingers. That's what I'm sort of more concerned about. Let's do a quick save and a hard save. I really just have to make sure I save with these mods, because compared to a lot of other YouTubers, I tend to play with a lot of unstable mods, which can crash and ruin series from time to time, so I've got to be sort of meticulous in my save files there. That's one of the very reasons why I don't do legendary difficult campaigns. I prefer hard. Even though there's a way around that, you might not believe it, but even though, so when you do a legendary campaign, right? So I don't know if you guys know this, but you can save scum a legendary campaign. Some people don't know that, but you can do it. Obviously, it's one save file, but as long as you consistently back up, you just have to do it manually. You have to go into your documents, or you have to go into, I think it's like run. It's like I don't know how. I've got it open on my PC, so I can access my Creative Assembly save files quite quickly, because sometimes that really eats up my SSD. But that's what some people do, just to get the achievements. They save scum on that. But that's too much of a hassle. I'd rather just play on very hard. So we'll go with another triple axis formation here. It doesn't have those angles that I like, and things need to be spread out a little bit better here. I want to try and centralize my slingers as well. So we can form these disciplined formations, it's fine, because it worked tremendously well, as I said, in the Etruscan fight. Now, also to note as well, I want to move, so normally the Romans would have their cavalry quite close, willing to close the distance, but I might actually drag mine out a bit. But this is what we have for now. We have our slingers at the front with the Roma banner there, and here is our front line of Hastati and Principes in disciplined formation. But like I said, you got to try it for yourself. Believe me or not, they can really get wrapped around, especially on DEI. Cavalry there, Equites on the left and right, willing to form a Roman Republic. Okay, we could eventually form an empire as well. Okay, now I might actually, on second thought, move my third row of Triarii out of their position. Although you sort of want to sometimes, if they've got skirmishes of supremacy, to have like a shield wall up. Having the ability to pivot and rotate and plug gaps just in case Because this is going to be a tough fight. Even if they start wavering, we can. I'm going to sort of redirect my cavalry as well. Because I don't think that they're going to be that useful being that close. I also want to move my slingers a bit because I want them to be able to fall back, run between, maybe even as well with this triple axis formation that allows the movement of slingers to retreat and move through the ranks quicker. I don't know if there's sort of a thing for that. Anyway, I'll move my slingers in a bit, but I want to get my cavalry out of the way here. Looking at the battlefield, there's a lot of thick trees there at the start. Just getting on the angles will be fine. Okay, and let's move those slingers. Oh, did I just move my men? Why to do that? Enemy reinforcements approaching. So they are attacking us at the end of there. It's a 50-50. I think it was more so on my favour on the battlefield, but this should be a good one. We're fighting against the brave men of Epirus and Epirus. Their king. Okay, let's speed things up. Oh no, we'll slow things down because we've actually got line of sight on them, and they're gone. Oh come on, I want to see these guys. I want to see these terrifying elephants. So they're moving pikes up. We're going to be able to do a lot of damage on them. Yeah, I think it's because I put it in the group. So move up slightly. Yeah, that's what I want. Just move up a little bit. Okay. And wait for them to push up, lock, and engage. Then we'll flank with my cavalry units. There's their cavalry. So they have two generals as well, which we've got to keep an eye on, so we might have to target them. Now, I don't know when you get archers in the game. It might be... I can't remember, it's been so long. I do know there's very good Cretan to Syrian archers that you can get at Rome. Auxiliaries. The auxiliaries for Rome are so cool. But the pikes are now moving up. I don't know how well they're going to fare in this fight. And they've also got some levies here as well. So we're starting to engage their weaker unit there. They're a medium infantry, so we don't want to waste too many on them. Hitting those pikes as they only have small round shield in there. Well, they're overcompensating with that huge pike. We should be able to inflict some serious damage. Once they interlock with our Hastati and Principe front line, we'll be able to swing around, hammer and anvil with the Equites. I don't particularly want to put on skirmish mode, because I'd rather close the distance and run them, because they're probably going to close the distance on us quick and we'll move further back. But here are their war elephants charging forth, hired from the east. There are elephants on the fields of Rome. Crazy. We'll try and mount those things. That cavalry's gotten way too thick there. Go, 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 Gadget. They're looking to wrap, but we might... Yeah, it's like they've seen the triple axis formation and been like, wait a minute. Where are they? Where are their horses? So we're charging in there now. They are wrapping a little bit around here. And with my second formation, we can pivot there. Now, also, having that second rung being able to move quickly, the elephants are going to be a massive problem in this fight. Even though I've been banging on about the triple axis and how good it is discipline-wise, that's going to count for nothing if a full pack of elephants come ripping through it. So we'll get all my slingers now to focus all their firepower upon the elephants, and complementing them with strong, disciplined triarii with that thrusting long spear ability. I'm hoping that they can pierce through that elephant's hide. Okay, so my cavalry's engaging those, and we've broken them there. So we've managed to bring down 3 or 4 elephants, and more seem to be going. My slingers seem to be working an absolute treat, and we seem to be angling their soldiers well. And we've nearly brought them all down. There are only 3 elephants, 2 elephants left. 1. Oh my god. So the slingers focusing their firepower and the spears have managed to bring down the war beasts. That's a huge early win for the Romans. A front line of pikes is now engaging the Hastati, and they're not going to be able to do too much. They're basically bonk, bonk, bonk. It's like bloody poking pinholes in a shield. They're not even going to do too much. We'll get my skirmishers now to stop focusing their fire and share it out throughout the infantry. Why? I've never seen anything like that. It's because I don't often fight with this formation. Maybe, like I said, we're going to have to change things up once we get like married reforms. Or maybe once we get to a later time period, we probably can move away from ethnic equites cavalry and go realistic like the Romans did. They relied on auxiliary horsemen throughout the known world. Those companion equites are pulling further back there. But Epirus is actually a really cool and unique faction. They've got a really interesting, charismatic leader, and they've also got a bit of a hybrid army. They have access early on to Italian, to Taurus infantry in the city that becomes Beneventum. Even Taurus in the Rise of the Republic DLC is interesting. A former Spartan city-state. They've got the blood of the Spartans in them, holding on to their independence. Epirus controls their territory. They're sort of the odd one out. Also, you must never forget that Alexander was half Epirus. And that means Angelina Jolie was full Epirus, I guess, in that movie. But, yeah. There's a strong connection, because I think you start off allied in the Alexander campaign. So, with those elephants gone, I'm getting a little bit distracted. So, we're holding on quite well here for now. Okay, there's a heavier blocked unit holding up here. But overall, just looking at the central bottom of my units there, the unit cards, we seem to be holding quite well. Yellow, green, and we've been fighting for nearly 8 minutes now. Ammunition is going to be something that we could run out of, but if I was using archers, I wonder how much better we would be doing statistically. Having like armor piercing stuff. Yeah, maybe we need to invest in, or maybe we need to go over to Greece to get those Cretan archers as well. But yeah, you can let me know where you'd like me to expand and conquer, but the beauty with Roman campaigns, it sort of depends. Like, obviously the easier bet in like Rome Total War and Rome 2 is you focus on Cisalpine Gaul, you try and secure Italy as best as possible. You try to open up a front with Gaul, also invoking the Punic Wars. But then, once you've gone Carthage and Gaul, you can basically go wherever you want. Iberia is really good because they are... I think... The thing is with Iberia, the topography of Iberia, the peninsula, is a little bit hard, obviously. This is why, like, Napoleon in the Peninsula War had such a bad time. There's a lot of narrow corridors. There's also a lot of hills and rugged terrain. Even where there are flats, like, this is one of his main problems. That's why, like, guerrilla warfare was such a huge thing in the Napoleon Wars. Or it sort of... it helped the La Guerrillas, as it were, so much. Was that even the flat ground where they wanted to fight their field battles was surrounded by hills, and they were just getting murked on the hillside. So even though they're a easier barbarian-ish faction, they do have decent swordsmen here and there, the heavies, same with Gaul. They're an easier time, but Iberia is such a wealthy territory, and it's so easy to defend as well. Still got to deal with Athens, still got to move into Egypt, and of course, well, Britain. That's still well away. That's what I'm saying, it might take us a while, so strap yourselves in for a massive episode here today. I'm going to try and play, it's going to be an hour or so this fight. That cavalry's doing well. And the enemy general's dead. Good, we knocked him out. Good, that should be able to start some wavering and loss penalty there. But I'm actually kind of blown away about those elephants. It actually worked. Focusing 6 volleys, making sure to pivot those spears. I actually don't know if I didn't use this triple axis tactic, going back to the classic, because you guys watch my videos, you see I don't do bland tactics, I just do what works. So, front line, have at least 2 on the flanks ready to pivot, and then a bunch of cavalry. Depending, like army build wise, I get suggestions from you guys, and it's also down to personal preference. I know people that play sometimes with 6 to 8 cavalry units depending on the total war. They have now buckled those pikes, which is great, but it's micro heavy, especially in Attila. You're so rewarded for cavalry combat. Yes, so I can't do too much. I can't articulate my thoughts half the time while playing a micro intensive game like Total War sometimes. So I think 4 cavalry is enough for me. Okay, we'll try and push into those pikes then where we can. Okay, so that's good. Yes. They're now holding 3 or 4. So, now that we're actually pushing out, we're probably going to... This is where most of our casualties are going to come from, because now we're actually moving and directing our soldiers to engage in hand-to-hand combat. Especially against pikes, it might be a little bit of an issue. So we'll reforge our cavalry here, try and do some hammer and anvil strikes. You can charge in here. Okay, so that's actually a hoplite unit. I saw very heavy. I was like, oh, we might have a struggling time there. Nope. Looks like they dropped the pikes and drawn their short swords. But I'm happy that I'm kind of surprised they pushed all the way over there and actually attacked us. It's incredibly ambitious. Because they didn't need to do it. They look like they kind of left. We mustered at Beneventum, burning a couple of turns. Got the army built I like after the war against the Etruscans. But now, Epirus has fallen. Now, let's talk about Epirus as well. They've still got that territory in Greece and Apollonia. Normally, it's actually not too bad of a leap pad into Greece, but script-wise, we're going to have to go to war with Syracuse and Carthage eventually, and I think I'm going sort of north, so we'll have to leave it for now. Also, the supply as well. Back and forth, we're going to have to build a navy. You can't just go over to Greece. And we got victory. A close one. 3,000 we deployed. We lost 1,000. They deployed 3.7. And they lost 3,000. Auto resolve wise, it could have been better because those elephants could have absolutely wrecked shop through us. So we've managed to beat Epirus on the fields of Taurus. We lost 1 unit of Astarte. Those brave boys will be forever remembered. Captives wise, early on we're going to kill them because we don't have the infrastructure yet to house those slaves, and it's going to cause more problems than what they're worth, because the thing is, right, in this game you never have a lack of enslavement captives at the end of a battle anyway, so we're going to be able to get more of them eventually and bring them back to the Italian peninsula, so there's no worries in that department. I'd rather not worry about it because we've got a lot of wars still to come. Okay. And going through the intern phase here now. Good. Research complete. Scholarship. Oh, we can get that dignitary in. And it's 277. The workshop and the consecrated grounds has been built. Perfect. Okay, welcome to the top of the turn. Let's finish off with the Epirus holding in Taurus. We only lost 1,000 in that fight, so we should be able to still... Oh, okay, now we're doing scholarship. Oh, my bad. I read it popped up. I guess it initiated scholarship. We'll try and sabotage this army now first, though. Yeah, we lost 1,000. We should have enough. Sometimes the garrisons can be a little bit funny in this. So, Legion 1 can push up, and now Fulio there with Modius with Legion 2 can move up. I might even rename some of these legions. Let me know suggestions. Apollonaris sounds alright. Okay, so it's going to drag out the 3k. which is fine. So we'll auto-resolve this. It should be able to wipe the garrison that's being drawn out. We might lose 1 or 2 units here, but I can't be bothered fighting this one. We fought 2 battles here today, one against Epirus and the Etruscans. So we should be able to take the city of Taurus now as our reward. Rename it Brundisium. 2 units of cavalry, and okay. That's alright. Only rank 2, it's still pretty early on. We lost 800, we lost more in that one than the other fight. Alright. Let's kill the captives and move on. Oh, why don't we get Taurus itself? That's strange, whatever. What? I thought we wiped the garrison. Oh, I guess the auto result wasn't very good. Alright. We'll move you further up there. Damn. Yeah, we're gonna have to wait for you to... Yeah, there's no way for you to get in strike range. Well, we'll move you back here, okay? Because you're actually spent... Oh, it actually wasn't even a point. There wasn't even a point. I forget in DEI that you have to do this sometimes. We'll go with Vanguard here, though, and continue to go with the purple. But you need to actually select the city. Skilled Tactician is what I like as well. And we've already gone with Formidable Fighter. Like, Legion 2 is going to be able to carve that up easy. You never know, a wild Epirus army could appear out of nowhere. So we'll get some short recruits. Everything up in the north. Cassentia never got taken, which is good, because sometimes that can fall. You're better off to move back to Beneventum, because sometimes you can get cut off quite easily. That's right, we'll end the turn there. And we'll have a crack at Taurus again. Ah, that's silly. I'm going from the perspective of... what was I playing last? 1212 AD. So that usually, in that situation, with the army outside, it drags out and destroys the garrison. You can just waltz in, but DEI is a little bit iffy on that department. Not aggression pact with Bulgaria. I'm going to decline that instantly because I know I'm going to be going to war with them and taking the settlement of Genoa quite quickly. So we'll send in Legion 2 now. Quartermaster reports just those 4 units. So Legion 2 with 16 should be able to take that. Yeah, what is this, man? I guess my army was just so depleted, I guess. Anyway, we'll quickly auto-resolve this one. But we've officially united the peninsula in the south. Not in Cisalpine Gaul, to the north, though. We'll loot and occupy as we have the neighbouring 2 regions. And we're going to be able to sort of bring that money back anyway. We're going to have to hold this, so we'll break down, replenish, and repair where we can, and we'll try and peace out with Epirus as well, as I don't have any ambition to hit Apollonia just yet, and they're going to be dear. Like, even if I go there, I'm actually going to be bordering Illyrians, Macedonians, more Greeks, when I'm going to be dragged script-wise towards Syracuse and Carthage eventually. And I'd rather go north. I can't open up essentially a 3rd front. How much do they give me? 600. 1.2. I'll take that though. I'm happy with that. But now we're not at war with anyone, and we can replenish and repair for episode 2, and we'll look to push against Syracuse and Ligurium in Genoa, I guess, towards the north. Okay, I think that's enough for today's video. I've played an hour here today. We've done a really long and good episode. We started off well. We defeated the Etruscans and Epirus in turn 1. I think we have a solid foundation. I really am enjoying the triple axis formation. Let me know if I should continue, or maybe I should do some more sort of role playing where I can. I want to try and do a sort of formation of the Roman Empire in this series, so stay tuned for episodes over the coming weeks and months. It's probably going to take us 18-20 episodes off the top of my head, so support it by leaving a like and a comment. I'll do more. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm, but stay tuned for content on the channel. Hope you enjoyed today's video and this upcoming Rome series. Unfortunately, guys, it is time to end the video here. Thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know in the comment section down below your feedback for the series, and if you'd like to see more, that's the best way to ensure more content. Leave a dislike if you're not enjoying the series. Check out my social media links if you want to stay connected with me. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all in the description below. Patreon and merchandise link in the description below, along with the Steam group. Come and join the community on Steam. And on that note, unfortunately, I have to end the video here. Thank you very much for watching once again. Make sure to take care of yourselves. Go out and have a fantastic rest of your day. My name has been Simpzy. Goodbye.